What's up, ballers? Jacob here with AllDriveNoDrop, talking about the Chorus Fires. Yeah, these paddles look fire and they play fire, but I will get into all of that throughout this review. We're going to break it down. We're going to compare it to other paddles. These are $153 after code AllDriveNoDrop. So a great price from Chorus. Thank you for not going for $250 for your first power paddle. That's an awesome price. Now, interesting, right? We got the polyester carbon fiber weave here, so a nice little red and black combo with the fire in the bottom. They got all three shapes: wide body, hybrid, elongated, whatever you choose. You know, I get a lot of questions like, oh, which shape is the best? Honestly, whatever shape you currently play with, I would go for that shape. That's usually my answer, unless you have, like, you know, you're looking for something different. I can help you with that best shape. These are all thermoform unibody with perimeter edge foam, but we're going to break down all the specs of these paddles. We're going to do it, you know, together at the same time since we have a full lineup right here. So let's jump into those specs and talk more about the Chorus Fire series. Okay, so first I'm going to throw up this graphic from Chorus on the screen. I think this just helps you see the difference between all their shapes. You see their wide body, which has that 15.8 inch length, and it does get wider as it gets to the top. Same thing with their hybrid. It gets a little wider towards the top. It's 16.2 inches in length. And then their elongated is 16.5 inches in length, traditional elongated, and also gets slightly wider as you get towards the top. All the grip lengths, 5.6 inches with a grip circumference of 4.25 inches. We'll jump into those swing weights real quick. So all these paddles come in a lot lighter too. So I think they're aiming for around 7.8 ounces average. All mine came in either 7.7, 7.8 with you, and then you get the swing weights pretty low on the wide body, 106 with a 6.94 twist weight. The hybrid 113 with a 6.62 twist weight, and elongated of 114 swing weight with a 6.15 twist weight. So honestly, like really good swing weights, really low for everything. Hybrids, mine came in at 113. I have seen some lower, so mine's probably on the higher end for the hybrid range for the swing weights. All super maneuverable paddles. Twist weights are high, and I think the wide body plays best stock, but that's just kind of true in general with all paddles these days. So those are the specs. I'm going to show you how I played these with weight, and we'll talk about more of that in the next segment. So let's jump into the weight setups. Okay, so let me first say that Chorus, Matt from Chorus, the owner of Chorus, intended these paddles to be lighter at the start for their stock, you know, the stock weight. He wanted them to be low because he wanted people to customize them in the ways they wanted to do. So I really do think the hybrid and elongated, you really need to put weight on them to get the best performance. I personally would not play them stock at all. The wide body you can definitely play stock, but the elongated and hybrid, you really need to customize it. So if you are hesitant to customize with weight, you know, just follow some weight setups that I'm gonna give you, or, you know, follow some weight setups other people are suggesting. It's really not scary to add weight. So if you are hesitant, don't feel hesitant if you really want to get these paddles, because with weight, their performance is awesome. So I'll just talk about it now. Stock, these paddles, especially the elongated and the hybrid as well, towards the top, outside of the sweet spot, even sometimes like at the edge of the sweet spot, you can feel some harsher vibration feedback. Now, I think that's just because of how light the paddle is, and also because of the thin fiberglass layer on top. I think you get some more vibration and feedback from those elements. Now, adding weight to the paddles does help with that vibration, that feedback, but you're still going to get more than an average thermoform paddle, and these paddles are thermoform unibody with edge foam. So you're going to get more feedback than usual from you know, an average thermoform paddle. Now, I put about 5.5 inches starting at the middle of that O going up, mainly because I wanted to get it higher on the paddle, you know, elongated, and trying to hit it in this area more, but I didn't want to raise the swing weight too much, so that's where I put it. Performance was a lot better. With this weight setup, you get a lot of power. We'll talk more about that in the paddle comparisons, but you get a lot of power with added weight, and you get a lot better feel. So that's my weight setup for the elongated, and my little disclaimer on the vibration and the feedback. So for the HX, got 7.5 inches going from this bottom corner here, going almost up to right where that curve starts at the top. Now you can put less. If you were going to put less, for the hybrid, I'd put 3, like if you had pre-cut strips, I'd just put 3 grams here. In the elongated, I would put 3 grams, maybe starting at that bottom corner, going up, or like right in the middle. And I use Bodhi tungsten tape for all my stuff. They made it thinner now, so you can see this, very thin, doesn't really protrude from the paddle that much. You can get yourself 15% off in the description. Now for the SX, I did the pre-cut strips here, just because I wanted to try. I know everyone's always asking for the pre-cut strips, and you could do this differently. But I put 3 grams in the middle, 3 grams up top, dead center, and another, so 3 grams on each side in the middle, 3 grams up top. So 9 grams total. And then I put edge tape all around, just because I wanted to get a little bit more stability. I wanted to just try it out, getting a little bit of extra weight all around the paddle. And like I said, this one plays the best stock. This, yeah, it plays great with this weight setup. So try that out. You don't have to put the top one on there. You could just do the middle. But I liked it with the top because I play with more of like a 120 swing weight. Try to get my paddles rounder more. But if you don't want to go too high, you don't have to. Let's go talk about how these perform on the court now. Let's start with the wide body SX. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that one for their shape. So these all get a lot of pop. I think these are extremely poppy paddles, and with weight, you almost unlock a little bit more pop. I know it's counterintuitive. Usually you put more weight on, you get less pop. Something about adding weight to these paddles seems to make them a little bit poppier. And I'm talking about not on the just like holding the paddle out there. I'm talking about with a little bit of a counter punch. It seems like it activates a little bit more of that pop. So SX, really stable paddle stock, amazingly stable with the weight on there. Sweet spot, maybe a little bit smaller than your average thermoform paddle, but bigger than say like the Anna Lee Water Bantam paddles. So not too big of a deal. The wide body is the one where you're like, the sweet spot is absolutely fine, nothing to worry about. Spin, all these get over 2100 RPM spin. They're not super gritty, which probably means they're gonna last longer in that spin department. The SX is, with the weight setup, it is all court, but like almost power level with that combination of power and pop when you add the weight. So drives and your serves, you can get them deep. It feels good. Consistent power without too much effort with that weight setup. And the counter punches with all 3 of these are just lethal. That's really where these paddles shine, is in hands battles. There's a lot of pop coming off these paddles, and it's pretty easy to finish points with that pop. Now the soft game with the wide body SX, not too bad. Really good control with the dinks, really good control with the drops. And if you're someone that likes to feel the ball on the paddle, these paddles are excellent because you can really feel the ball. You can really feel when you mishit it. So it gives you a lot of information with your shots. The only problem is sometimes, if you go towards the top, you do get a little bit of that harsher feedback. So that's the wide body SX. Now, talking about the HX, we're only going to talk about with the weight setup for the HX and EX. That's just how I prefer them. The HX, you do get a little bit of that feedback in the top. If you go a little bit too far off, sweet spot, same thing, slightly below like an average thermoform paddle, but not too bad. Especially, with the weight setup, then you're going above like a stock average thermoform paddle. So with this, great power and great pop with this weight setup, no problem. Finishing points, getting good counter punches. I think this takes a little bit of adjustment on the dinks for some reason. This and the EX, I did have a little bit of trouble dinking at first. It takes some games to get used to. Just something about the combination of the pop and the stiffness and the sweet spot size that I'm not used to, but once you get it dialed in, you can really do some nice work with this paddle. And like I said, spin, no problem here, really great spin. Now, let's talk about the EX, because this is interesting. The EX stock is definitely not my favorite paddle, but when I put this weight on there, I'm getting enough power where I'm hitting harder than like a PaddleTech TKO CX stock. So this gets a ton of power. This extra weight, something about the construction, adding weight to this just helps it a ton. And you get a lot of power out of it. You get a lot of pop. You can still hit good spin. You can start to control it a lot more with the weight. The sweet spot starts to feel a lot better. And all these are super maneuverable even with the weight setups, which helps a ton. So the EX is going to be for those people that either want to play singles, they want that maximum reach, they want the maximum power of this lineup, and they're, you know, they play a big drive game and they like to finish points, you know, with big overheads, big swinging volleys. You know, still hitting great drops with this. Once you get it dialed in, there is a little learning curve here with the poppiness and the stiffness of the paddle that you get accustomed to. But after that, it's all good and you really start getting used to it. Okay, so that's what I have on those. Let's kind of talk about all these and how they compare to some other paddles and wrap up. Okay, so like I was talking about with the Fire EX, comparing it to the PaddleTech Bantam TKO CX 14.3. So if you were a fan of that, and obviously you want something at a better price point, you want something with, you know, just as much pop and you're able to get just as much power with the weight setup, and you want a little bit bigger sweet spot than that had, and then you still get, you know, a nice long handle, this would be a great choice to get if that's what you're looking for. Obviously this is going to, you know, have a little bit more stiffness vibration, I think, so keep that in mind for that. Now the HX. I did a video of my top 5 hybrid paddles with this in it. So if you want like a full breakdown of hybrid paddles right now and you're looking to get those, I think that's a great video to check out. Basically, this is the poppiest paddle on that list. So if you're looking for the top tier pop, then this is it, and it's going to be the stiffest paddle on that list. So if you're looking for a poppy paddle with that stiffer feeling and you can really feel the ball, then this is going to be that one. So on that list where the Olympus, the Saga, Flash, the J2K, J2TI, and the Neonic Flow Prime X. So this one kind of fits in there where it's got that higher pop, that lower static weight, with room for customization. So that's kind of how it fits in amongst those. Go check out that video for a deeper dive on that, but that's just the basic overview. And then the SX. So this is an interesting one because really the main competition is going to be that PaddleTech ESQ 12.7, right? So pop is actually a lot closer than you would think. It's pretty close to that ESQ 12.7 pop level. The power level stock is not there at that 12.7 at that ESQ level. With the weight, you can start getting there. It's just, you know, the ESQ actually comes in at a lower swing weight, but I think it has a bigger sweet spot than the ESQ. And it just has a different feeling than the ESQ, like you know, with this construction. So it's really going to come down to that. Obviously, the price is a lot cheaper. Personally, I do prefer like the ESQ 12.7 more than this one, but you know, that's just my preference. I think that this still fits a good spot. It's a little bit more controllable than the ESQ. And that's really where it's going to shine. If you wanted something with a little bit bigger sweet spot, you wanted a little bit more control, but you still wanted good pop and power. So that's how I see those stacking up against the competition. Let's go to the conclusion and we'll wrap up. Okay, so the Chorus Fire HX, Chorus's first introduction for power paddles, and also I should mention they do have the Shapeshifters in the same shapes as these Chorus Fires. So if you want more of a very good all-court paddle with great sweet spots, then the Chorus Shapeshifters would be the options. If you like these shapes and you wanted to stick with Chorus, you could go check out their Shapeshifters, which I've hit. Very good paddles. So at $153 after the discount code AllDriveNoDrop, awesome price for what these paddles give, the looks, the performance. I think that these hit a great spot in the market if that's what you're looking for. You know, the big disclaimer, of course, is stock. They have some vibration and stiffness that I think some people, you know, if you pick it up and you don't put weight on it, you won't like it right away. I really suggest you just put weight on it before playing it stock and then just start moving it around, because honestly, when I played them stock, I wasn't thrilled. But then once I put the weight on there, paddles really unlocked their potential and played way better. Like, I haven't seen such a drastic change from putting weight on a paddle to playing it stock and performance than these. So just keep that in mind. You really want to put that weight on there. Any questions you have, feel free to drop them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this review. It was one of the harder reviews I've had to do. Definitely had to experiment with these paddles and get that information. I wanted to make sure that you fully understood the Chorus Fire line. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel. Don't want to miss stuff coming out soon. If you're watching this on Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And if you're past Thanksgiving, drop it in the comments what your favorite food was from Thanksgiving. I love to hear some good food talk. And of course, tell me what you think about the Chorus Fire paddles too. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I hope you go play some pickleball.